Hey guys, Kristen with Expert Credit Sweeps here. So I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I just wanted to follow up on the previous video where I once again told you to not use any templates, but this time I'm going to give you a little bit of the solution, okay? So I have shared my screen prior, so let me just move myself up into the corner. Okay, so what I did was I created a mind map. So it's a visual map. Sorry, that was my phone. It's a visual map, and it shows basically everything that you could possibly dispute on a negative item. And I'm sure that I missed a couple, but I just wanted to give you some ideas that can be used. So negative item is in the middle. This is for one negative item, whether it be a charge-off, collection, repossession, foreclosure, bankruptcy. Well, not really bankruptcy, only a couple of things pertain to that, but you get what I'm saying, late payment, whatever it is. So you have the negative account in the center, right? That's right here. And then you have, and I can move this whole thing around, and this is on my website, so you can actually go directly to the link, and that's up here. It's expertcreditsweeps.com/dispute-reasons, okay? I will put it down in the description, okay? So anywho, these are all of the things that you can use as dispute reasons, and just a little bit of a kick in the butt to get your mind started on, looking at the account and what could I possibly dispute about this. So I'm going to give you a couple of them. So let's look at the top here. So we have, and we're looking at the white things right here, right? And these are all branches coming off of the negative item. So we have account number, credit limit, terms, status, balance, and I'm going counterclockwise, date of last payment, monthly payment, date of last activity, date closed, responsibility such as individual, joint, and I forgot the T there, AU, payment status, creditor name, filing date, court name, late payments, notice of dispute, payment status details, sold to or transferred, type, charge-off amount, date of first delinquency, payment amount, past due balance, frequency of payments, date opened, and that's it. Okay, so let's look at some of the things that will get your mind started on these things. So you have like 17 reasons to dispute each and every account, okay? So my whole point behind this is that you are wasting valuable time and money and effort and whatever just sending out these templates, because as I've shown you and as I say all the time, these templates don't work. I don't care what they are. Yes, maybe sometimes they remove certain things, but it doesn't, like 100% of, it does, like 100% of everything doesn't work 100% of the time, okay? And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're freaking lying to you, and it's bullshit if you believe them, okay? So with account number, sites may or may not report the full account number, but just because it's partial doesn't mean that you should dispute it, okay? If it's an entirely different account number, then yes, freaking dispute it. Okay, with credit limit, I have gone over this, and you can go back to a previous video on indirect dispute techniques on run up and payoff to fix this part. So is your limit reporting? So certain companies such as Capital One do not report the limit, okay? So what they do is they state that the high balance is actually the limit. So what happens is that, let's say that your limit is actually $2,500, but you've only used $200 on your card. You're being good and you're keeping utilization down. What happens now is that it looks like your limit is actually $200 versus $2,500. The way to fix that without calling them, because they're not going to even report it if you call them, is to run it all the way up. Let's just say to $24.99 and like 99 cents, whatever, as close to the highest, as it possibly can get, and then immediately pay it off. So now your high balance is actually going to reflect your limit, and it's going to change your utilization, and that is how that works. Okay, so with terms, so you want to check that, number one, it's consistent across, the bureaus, however many are reporting them, and that the terms are correct. Status. So is the account status correct? If not, dispute it. Okay, high balance. This is a big one, and I did have a video or partial video on this. So if your balance, not the high balance, but the balance is higher than the high balance, dispute it. Okay, so let's say that you have a charge off with capital one, and it states that your balance is 500, but your high balance is 1500. Let's use something a little bit more real. Okay, so balance of 500, but your high balance is 650. How is that freaking possible if the high balance means that is the highest the balance has ever been? Okay, you have to dispute that and state that it's a violation and that they have to remove it. Okay, so date of last payment, that one's pretty straightforward. So the date of last payment is when you last paid. So if it's on a charge off, then it really matters, because, you know, if they're saying that it was 8 months ago when it was really 6 months ago, then you can get it removed. I mean, as long as you either know that it's incorrect, it is actually inaccurate, or, you know, the like the payment history actually reflects it, or you have proof of it, then, I mean, go for it. So my next video, I'm actually going to write myself a note right now because I just thought of it. So the next video is going to show you in the hierarchy of how these should be disputed and some examples. So I'm just writing myself a note right now, and it's actually just a triangle hierarchy. Okay, I am back. All right, so well, monthly payment. So with monthly payment, and I've gone over this in a lot of videos, the monthly payment is super freaking important, because if your monthly payments are showing that you are making monthly payments on accounts that are actually either closed, or there are no monthly payments, or they're paid, whatever, you may actually be denied credit because that monthly payment is higher. So they look at your income, you know, let's just say that you make $2,500 in a month, okay, and it's showing that your monthly payments are like $1,400. Why the hell are they going to give you credit? Now, if 500 of that belongs to accounts that are closed that you are not actually paying on anymore, then you have a huge problem here, because you're being denied based off of false information. So if these creditors are purposely reporting this to hurt you, then you can take them to freaking court. So make certain, look at all your accounts and make sure that there are no monthly payments reported on closed accounts. There should not be a monthly payment reported on a closed account. I don't care if it's positive and closed. I don't care if it's negative and closed. No monthly payments on closed accounts. Okay, so date of last activity, this is a very important one. It does not show on credit check total, but it does show on identity IQ. So date of last activity, the DOLA, is the date, right, that you were last active, but it's going to be imperative to your credit, because that is the date that everything is based off of for when your account is naturally going to fall off your credit report based off the statute of limitations. So let's say that your account has been re-aged, so you're almost near that 7-year mark after it was, you know, 6 months later, whatever, and you're like, oh my freaking God, I am like so excited because I'm gonna be able to go out and do this, and that was just the one account that I was waiting for, and you're like, well, holy shit. Now it says that it's going to be coming off in 2022. How the hell is that possible? Well, you might have disputed something wrong, and you probably, you know, ruined this yourself, or a company that was disputing things the wrong way. And I could throw a couple names out there for companies, but I'm not going to. Happens all the time, okay? So you need to be really careful with the date of last activity. And if these accounts are being re-aged, the oldest date is normally the accurate date. But if you see anything that's newer, or you see different dates, and there's like literally off by years, and you will see that all the time, date of last activity on Identity IQ or whatever other sites actually show that, that is a huge freaking violation. You take them to court, you do whatever you want. But the whole point is that our goal is to use this to get negative accounts removed from your credit report. Okay, so my recommendation is to go and look at your credit report on Identity IQ. If you are using other sites such as Credit Check Total or Privacy Guard or whatever, or MyFICO, and check out that date. Okay, so date close, that's kind of a no-brainer right there. You might need to look at like physical reports to get that date, but let's look at responsibility. So individual, joint, and AU, the way that you get authorized users off is simply by disputing them, because that is not based off of your credit. Okay, so payment status, there's payment status details, and so is it late? Is it 30 days late? Is it paid on time? If it says that you're late, but you're actually paid on time, and it was only 30 days late, make sure to actually dispute that. And you will see this a lot with a lot of credit cards, and like if you recently paid but the status still says that it is late, dispute it to try to get that thing removed from your credit, whether it is a charge off, whether it's, in collection, whatever, or if it's just a late payment. So creditor name, this is a big one, and I'm only putting this on here because it doesn't really work to dispute if it's like where they're abbreviating their name. But what happens is, what if it's the wrong creditor? So you can literally have it where, bank A is reporting the account, but you already know that, collection agency A has the account, or bank B has it because they transferred or they sold it. So you need to use discretion when you're doing that. You have to make sure that you actually know who owns the account and all that kind of stuff, but I'm sure you're smart and you'll figure it out. So filing date, that one is good for public records. And you definitely, if you have a bankruptcy, look at the printable report and look at the filing date on Equifax. Okay, so court name, with judgments, tax liens, evictions, and bankruptcies, they have to have the legal court name. And let's say that there's a bankruptcy, it has to say U.S. Bankruptcy Court, city, state. So let's say that it's San Jose, California. It's U.S. Bankruptcy Courts. It's U.S. Bankruptcy Court, San Jose, California. It can't say U.S. District Court. It can't say federal court. It can't say freaking U.S. Dist Court. Whatever it is, dispute it, okay? It has to be accurate. So late payments. So the one example I gave you on here is if you have a charge-off, if you have a collection, it is a closed-ended account. Now, if you recall, when I did the videos on the FDCPA and the FCRA violations, I went over this one. And so collections are closed-ended accounts. They are not like revolving accounts. There should not be late payments on a collection, okay? Use it to remove it. So there's some powerful stuff on here. So I hope that you guys go and click on the link and check this out for yourself. It might actually give you a little kick in the butt in the right direction. So notice of dispute. So FCRA Section 623 and FDCPA 806B stipulate that the notice of dispute must be entered to your credit report on that account in the comment section within 30 days of the date of receipt of your dispute letter. If it's not on there, it's a violation and they have to remove. Payment status details. So is it saying that consumer is deceased? And you obviously aren't if you're watching this video and it's your account. Or is, the collection, does it say collection even though it's paid? You have to look at the payment status details, the payment status. You have to look at the date updated. I didn't put that on here. Sorry about that. Then, status update date. So if it has not been updated, that status update date, then that means that they did not investigate the account. That is a big one as well. Sold to transferred. So I will say about this one that credit check total does not put with credit check total only Experian puts the sold to or transferred notification on there. So you do want to pull your credit report somewhere else if you're actually going to use this as your dispute reasoning. So if the account is sold, they have to report that it has been sold or transferred. And if they don't, it's a violation. Type, so is it, revolving? Is it installment? Is it mortgage? Make sure that's correct. So charge off amount. So another part on here, because obviously you're going to say, oh, well, I don't owe this balance of $42,000 to you, Chase. That part is obvious. But the part that I want you to look at is who is reporting it and is the amount correct? So if you have company A and they sell it to company B, company A should not be reporting the balance, but company B can report the balance. And then, of course, it goes to the sold to and transferred part. So who's reporting it and is the charge-off amount correct? So date of first delinquency, that kind of goes with the other one, but is the date accurate? And are you actually 30, 60, 90, whatever days late? And then I gave a thing on there about student loans. So Navient will start you right at 90 days late. What happened with 30 and 60? you can use that to get your late payments or the entire account removed. So just remember, you don't have to get the whole freaking account removed. You can get parts of the account updated or removed, okay? So payment amount, it's kind of obvious. The amount is not correct or whatever. Past due balance, is it correct? And one of the things I wanted to tell you about past due balances, what did I want to tell you? Oh, okay. So did you recently pay it off, but the account isn't updated yet? So if you pay something and it's a negative account, go and immediately dispute it, because now that account is actually at a 0 or whatever you brought it down to balance, but the actual credit report is still stating that you have a higher balance. You can use it to remove it. Frequency of payments, how often do you pay, and then date open. So Experian normally reports the first of the month, no matter where you pull your credit report, and most of the time that's not accurate. But the other two bureaus will report something differently unless it actually is the first of the month. So once again, I will be putting the link to this, and that's this link you see up here on the top left, expertcreditsweeps.com/dispute-reasons. I will be putting it down in the description. But that is basically it. And like I said, I will be doing a video on the hierarchy. I kind of went into this in a different video, but I will make one specifically on this because I'm trying to make one flow into the other, and I will have a mini series, and maybe this is part of the mini series and this is a new series. I don't know. But the whole point is that I'm excited to make some videos for you. I have a lot of changes coming, and changes for the better for you guys. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. And if you need help, if you want an expert to take over your disputes, then just make sure to schedule an appointment with me, which you could do so on this website, expertcreditsweeps.com. You just go and click on book online. So have a great one, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.